Alright, here goes. Forward by Holly Crichton. Thing is, no one set out to kill him. But even now, nearly 10 years later, I think of how things would have gone if that 1,000,000 to 1 chance of the bullet from Maddie's little target pistol from 40 feet away hitting Sandy in the center of the spine on the back of his neck as he turned away from Maddie in the dark to do who knows what. Maybe grabbed the little axe that was lying right there at his feet when the dust all settled. Hadn't killed him instantly. That split second, about 20 minutes earlier, when Maddie decided that he was going to do whatever it took to stand up to his father, was a point in time when things were set in motion to end in disaster. For Maddie, there could be no equal ground. He was simply not powerful enough to hold his own. His only safe response to the violent attack from his dad that day would have been complete obedience. He'd need to have submitted, capitulated, and as he always had in the past, rolled over on his back, groveling for mercy as he accepted his father's violent and irrational behavior once again. Perhaps the marriage vows he'd read 2 weeks earlier pledged that for better or for worse he'd stand with Jenny, had made him decide that for better or for worse he was going to make a stand and defend his dignity and worth as a human being and a married man from his father's relentless attacks. Change page. Or maybe a quote that his father was fond of spouting when he'd be raging about some perceived slight he'd received by someone he was intimidated by, ran through Maddie's mind. He had heard Sandy's bellow countless times, "I may not be the toughest man in the world, but that's why he made equalizers." Whatever went through his mind, the outcome, of course, was Sandy's death and the trauma that ensued for all of us. On the advice of a friend, I began to keep copious notes, detailing everything that happened, beginning from the moment I got the call from Maddie telling me he had shot his father. My priority was getting the story straight and the facts down on paper so that anyone at any time could know them. Firstly, they were done. No, sorry. Right, there, good song. Okay, they were done. Where the hell am I? Okay. My priority was getting the story straight and the facts down on paper so that anyone at any time could know them. Firstly, they were intended to be presented to a jury when Maddie would stand trial for first-degree murder. Shit. Which was a terrifying prospect. The most severe charge a person could face. Effectively, it could mean that the rest of Matt's life would be spent in prison. I was sure that once they knew the story, a jury would understand how such an absurd thing could happen. But I was terrified that there would be some legal glitch, precedent or something that would negate their gut instinct and force them to rule against Matt. E. During the process of that writing, I racked my brain trying to pinpoint the moment in time when a different choice of my part may have completely changed the course of our lives. That exact moment when the cycle of violence we live with could have been eliminated. But on the heels of my every thought I had was the rebound thought that the repercussions of that particular move may have been ever deadlier than the path I continued to travel. Me becoming paralyzed in a horse racing accident made the situation far worse. In 1996, 14 years before Sandy's death, after spending nearly 3 months there at the beginning of my journey as a paraplegic, I was packing up to leave the safety of the Glen Rose Rehabilitation Hospital. 3 nurses that I'd come to know well during my stay there glided into my room and quietly closed the door behind them. "We shouldn't be doing this," said Blossom, a tall, buxom, and very dark-skinned nurse who had a perpetual cheerful song on her lips. "But we're afraid for your safety." They all knew my situation at the farm. That I lived with a violent husband. I had made the decision earlier on after my injury. While I was high on morphine and paralyzed not only by my spinal cord injury, but also by the terrifying nightmares I continued to have about him that I could not survive if I went home with Sandy. I had taken that stand while I felt safe and protected in the institution. I had vowed to all that I would not. No, I had vowed that I would not go back. All right, I'll stop 10 minutes.